Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mateo Mpatele, and welcome to the Tostri Live Digital Creative Summit. Almost called it the digital school, but hey, it's somewhat a school because we're giving you some fruitful and insightful information about the industry. Today, we will be discussing the art of strategy, where we'll give insight on the importance of strategy and really the importance of setting out a plan for either yourself as a brand or for you as a business. So that's what we will be tackling today with Lindo, who is someone that has actually been with us through creating the new corporate image that we launched last year, and all the design processes and the approach that we use in the business currently. So I'd like to welcome Lindo into the live now. Yo, what's up, bro?
Good yourself, man.
I'm good, brother. It's been a minute. How are you holding down?
Holding down just fine. It's a bit up and downish, and with everything that's happening. But we apply strategy, these hard
Yeah,
times.
strategy throughout, brother.
Exactly.
All right. I mean, for the people that do not know who Lindo is, just give a slight background of who Lindokuhle is.
So my name, obviously, okay, Lindokuhle, Jobe is Tole. Sister name is Tole. I am a creative thinker, brand designer, and all things mostly on the thinking more than the designing. So I'm a really, really deep and thought out thinker. So that's who I am. I grew, well, I didn't grow up in this creative space all the time, but it has been my passion for as long as I can remember. Thinking has been my passion. Creative thinking has been my passion, and doing all things creative. So I run a company called White Space, WYTE Space, and we create the uncreated, and that's what we stand for. That's the line of thinking, and basically that's where my my creative thought processes run through that line of creating something that doesn't exist, going creatively to Mars, so to say. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. I mean, that sounds really amazing. I think some people may not know that there are companies that specifically deal with strategy only. So I'm glad that you actually touched on that and what the business does. So just going into strat, which is what we are discussing today. I mean, for someone that does not know or that knows strategy on I'd say a generic level, how would you explain your discipline as a strategist? What do you do? What does a person that is within the strategic field do as a profession?
Um, I'll start by defining strategy. There's a couple of books that I've read, and type of books that I've read and studied along the lines of strategy, just growing within it. I've always grown in the line of strategy and strategic thinking. But I would say a lot of people confuse strategy with a plan. Strategy is not a plan. Strategy is not a vision. Strategy is not best practice. So those are the three things that strategy is not. Strategy is a choice, right? And it's a choice to win rather than just a choice to play in the game, right? So that's the very the basic and English way to define strategy. It's figuring out what choice you need to make in order for you to win in the game you're playing in. Whether the game be business, and it talks about making that one choice. You find a lot of companies really doing a lot of things, and they haven't made that one choice, that one winning aspiration choice, the choice that drives the win in the industry or in any sphere. This goes for you as a a person, and also as a business. You need to understand that strategy as a choice to write. It's a choice to win. So That's what I would define strategy is. And five things that I would say when it comes to strategy. Strategy entails five things. It entails why you exist as a company. So the purpose of your enterprise. So what is that purpose? And you can't say, well, Tostri Media exists just to create beautiful pictures
to
or
just provide,
say,
yeah.
Why does Tostri Media? There's a basic. There is a one-line basic, skill of motion picture, of directing photography, or directing video, or whatever that it is that you might do. You might find that you have a similar discipline than everybody else, but it might not be the same reason why you exist. Right. So once you figure out why you exist, you integrate detail, not a very vague detail of why you exist, but a very specific reason to why you exist. You need to figure out where will you play. So where will you be able to win? What environment do you need to put yourself in? Or what marketplace do you need to put yourself in order to win? Right? You can make a big mistake by putting yourself in the wrong environment. The wrong choice of why you exist, right? And then you need to ask yourself, since this is where I will play, this is a marketplace where I'll play, so how will I win, right? So in which way will you win this environment? So in which way will you win? Are you a media company that exists to create conversation? Are you creating new ways of looking at the world? What is that reason? Why do you play? Where do you play? How do you win? And what capabilities do you have? So you need to align purpose and why you exist and how you will win and where you will play with what capabilities you have, right? So you are here's the thing, you are either successful by association or failing by association. And that's a big part of strategy. You need to associate with the right capabilities, with the key capabilities, not just, and strategic capabilities, which means every capability is aimed at that one choice. And it goes back to that one choice, really. And then what systems and measures do you have in place to support the choice that you've made and the capabilities that you have? So strategy also influences systems. I wouldn't say systems are strategy, but systems are very interlinked when it comes to strategy. So the root of all strategy is choosing, and when it comes to create a strategy as well, is choosing the specific reason to why you create, where you will create, how you will create, what capabilities you will align to yourself, and what type of support you put in yourself. Once you answer those five questions, I think you have a very good way when you go into strategy.
Yeah. So basically, from what you're saying and what I'm taking from it is that you look at the brand or the business, it's an entirety, and from that you give a structure on how the business can follow, how it can operate, which in return somehow builds now a system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. I could say that, but very specifically that, and this must not be skipped. The part of strategy when you make that one choice, why you exist, to what, because you can build a lot of systems, right? But then suffer because you haven't decided what is that one reason that you exist for in your company. There's a lot of design companies, food companies. There's a lot of, but they exist for different reasons. So they succeed in different ways, and they work in different ways. And you should be the only one competing with yourself before you think of systems, before you think of capabilities, before you think of how is the business going to work. It needs to be, well, I'm going to win in this way, and I know the choice that I made is very unique to where I need to go to.
And I think that's I hope people are getting this. And what I wanted to now just get into before we move on to the next question is, based on what you said, can you briefly just tell people how you applied this way of coming up with strategy to the business, to our business as Tostri Media? So just share a bit of insight on how you got to that and what our current strategy is on executing a project or running the business.
So, and I'm sure you remember this conversation when we sat down and spoke about everything Tostri, and when we were rebranding and restructuring a lot of it. I asked you a lot of questions, and when it comes to strategy building, you need to ask the person who birthed the company a lot of questions. So you remember that I asked you a lot of questions. Why did you do this? Where did it come from? What did you want? And there were things in your journey that I could pick up that fed into the reason why you felt Tostri Media exists. And so with Tostri Media, we understood why they exist. That was a very important thing that we understood. We also understood where they will play, as a media communications company, and how will they play and what capabilities they have. So I had to assess all of that, and then understand. Okay, how do I build a strategy from understanding all of that? So there's three things that we came with, and when we looked at the definition of what media is a message, it's a stage, and it's a voice, right? You want to say something, you want to have a platform to say it, and then you want to have a voice to say it with, right? And that's where the gist of what the strategy, came through with. And that's one thing that you said in the first meeting that we had. Like, I've always wanted to be heard. I always wanted people to see people. I've always wanted. You kept reiterating that, and we came up with that. Okay, there's a message, there's a voice, there's a stage, there's the MSV that we came up with for Tostri Media. And that's how we came through with the let them hear you, let them feel you, let them see you. Because media comprises of three things. It comprises of senses, seeing, hearing, and feeling, right? So those are the three senses that media exists for. And that's what you really wanted to express. And it's shown, and ever since we did that, how progressive the company has been to do this type of a thing inside and outside of the company, and to help brands be seen, be heard, and be felt. And so that reason, and is specifically why people buy from your company. If that reason isn't hitting the heart of your client, they don't find any other reason to buy, because you have cameras and company A, B has cameras, company C has cameras, but they buy why you have those things, not the fact that you. So you could have less equipment and proper strategy, and you could really do some real good justice and get some good wins within the industry. And that's what we did with Tostri, is to get that gist and to get the root of everything and build it from the root going up. And that's how the strategy became very successful in that way.
Yeah. No, thank you for touching on that, bro. So for people that have always asked where the let them hear you branding comes from, that's part of our strat. What we have on the car right now, branded is this is where it comes from, and the aim of it is to actually evoke some form of thought in the processes that we have within Tostri Media. So just moving on, bro. Currently, we're facing this pandemic, right? And a whole lot of businesses are. Some of them are shutting down. Big brands are shutting down because this is something that they hadn't prepped for. So, how are you currently surviving as a strategist, as a business that offers a solution to like pandemics and businesses that are possibly about to close down or to liquidate? How are you surviving during this period?
Very interesting, bro. And it's actually helping me. This process and what has happened with COVID and everything has actually helped me to actually grow in strategic thinking. And here's how I've seen it. Strategy is a choice to win, right? So whatever the circumstance is, you need to choose to win. You need to say, okay, I need to find a way to win. So we look at the crisis as an opportunity, right? And say, well, how do we win where we are right now with the capabilities that we have and the systems and measures that we have in place? How do we win? How do we support our clients? How do we support companies? And how do we sell our services in a way that really talks to the heart of what is happening at that moment? So how we survived and how we've helped clients survive is to help them understand, remind them why they exist, first of all, remind them where they are. It's not the same landscape, so you have to change quite a few things, and you have to create new products and new avenues of income with the same reason of why you started in the first place. And so as white space, we're like, well, our reason to exist is we exist to create the uncreated. And for us, this is the perfect time to come up with new ideas for new strategies and new products. And so we've been working on quite a lot of products that could help companies beyond this. And with companies that are closing, it's an opportunity. And I think small businesses to wake up to this fact that if big agencies and big companies providing this type of products are closing, it's an opportunity. A lot of people are starting businesses and starting to do their own things because they realize I can't depend on my job. It's an opportunity. You need to anticipate the win in a crisis, right? So you need to have the understanding and just the mind mechanism of a win in the crisis. I think the company has made so much sales or so much wins that might not be very monetary wins, but really doors opening and opportunities coming through within this crisis more than it has in the last early in this year between December, January, and Feb. So it has been a very good growth for us. We have come up with new ideas and fresh ideas, and we realize something, and a lot of companies to realize this, that crisis breeds new opportunities create new ideas, and new ideas then create new products, and new products create new revenue streams. So you need to understand why did you start what you started, and how do you continue to win in this this pandemic,
in this space. And
because people still need to, like for Tostri Media, people still need to hear you. People still need to hear people. Companies still want to be heard, they still want to be felt. But how do we get that across to them within the same scape that we face in this day and age? This is gonna be for a while. This type of communicating is gonna be for a while. This Creative Summit has been, for me, one of the wins in crisis. So strategy is saying out period, and I'm going to use my capabilities and what I have, and the marketplace I have to really express the reason why the company, because that's what builds tenacity, and that's what produces. It's the purpose that propels, and purpose is a fruit. Is a seed. It's not a fruit, right? Money is a fruit of something, right? But the fruit of money is purpose. So when coming to understand strategy, people need to stop putting money as a seed and put it as a result.
So we are back. Apologies for that. I think we were just not aware that we had gone off for a bit, but we are back online. And what I was just touching on is that it's very important that people apply themselves further than just, okay, we need to acquire finances now to sustain ourselves. It should be more of a how do I apply myself firstly within the service that I provide, so that I could get other businesses, other people to actually believe in that idea during this, so that I can actually help them amplify their service, their business, or them as brands. So I think that's very important for us currently. And one thing that I also just wanted to touch on is that a lot of people think businesses, or let me say projects that we land in, are somewhat lucky, or we are lucky to actually get into those projects, and they don't realize that we strategically place ourselves in certain situations in order to move forward and actually get into now bigger projects, or for clients to trust us with bigger budgets. So planning, I'd say planning and working on that strategy is very important. So just moving on, because I think you probably have some advice for current small businesses and people that have somewhat say, we're actually giving up on this thing and we are not going to do it anymore. What advice would you give, briefly, in the sense that what can they do to actually either unlock their creativity, or work towards finding something unique to push as a service within the services that they offer? So what would you advise in general to small businesses, to creatives, to freelancers, but to everyone in general?
So one thing I would say is go back to the reason you started, right? Go back to the reason you started, the dream that was the seed to why you started. Go back to that. Shut the noise out. And what makes the loudest noise is that bank account, right? Not running, not going in the way that you expected it to go. That's what makes the most noise. Shut that out, and it doesn't mean ignore it, but choose your focus, right? So choose your focus. Go back to, so first thing is go back to why you began, the reason why, because that's the root of all strategy is why, right? That's why you bought into your own dream, because of the why, right? You saw the result of why why you would have started this type of a company, and renew yourself, right? So rethink yourself. So there's an element of starting afresh within these times. So look at it as an opportunity, than looking at it as a crisis. Your company could be open to new type of products, still based on the same reason why it exists, but new type of products. So if you see crisis and that's all you see, that's all you're going to experience, right? The environment to win in business is not outside of your mind, it is within your mind. The environment that you need to place yourself in to win, even when it comes to as a freelancer, is to say, how do I place myself strategically, to win? But it needs to start. The battle is won in the mind. You need to start there, and you need to say, well, I'm not losing. I've made a choice to win, and this is how I'm going to do it. And this is why I started it in the beginning. And I'm going to revamp and renew myself and see this as an opportunity other than seeing it as a crisis. Right? You need to see it as, well, this is going to open me to new possibilities, stretch me to things that my company didn't do. And perhaps that, will then bring financial rewards. And that's what we learn. That's what businesses learn. It's a very tough lesson that businesses learning, and the landscape of businesses learning is that finances are a fruit of why you began, not the root of why you began, right? They are a fruit of that. So they're not the reason. You didn't just to wake up and say, I'm starting Tostri Media just so that I could make money. It was bigger than that. So you need to go back to that reason and renew yourself. And every day, I would even advise, just look at your circle, right? You're either successful by association or failing by association. If you can put yourself with people that are looking at this as a crisis, that's all you're going to think. But if you put yourself next to people, look at it as an opportunity and open you up to even new opportunities within your own company, freelancing or anything like that, that's what will happen, right? The people that win are people that always see a crisis as a tsunami as a fresh start. We can rebuild infrastructure now. We can redo this, we can redo that. Oh, we have time to revamp. Oh, we have time to do that type of a thing as well. We have time to grow. We have time to consult. We have time to have conversations that could give us new ideas. So I would say to people, look at this as an opportunity. This is an opportunity. The pandemic is an opportunity. And that's my mindset. And that's why I might not necessarily see the financial rewards right now, but I'm placing myself in a very strategic place in my mind first, right? Because if you don't buy it from you, nobody's going to buy it from you.
True. Thank you so much, bro. I think you've actually summarized it quite nicely to say that this is not just as much as it's a very bad period right now. People must find opportunity in it because it's not all bad, which is very important during this period, because at the end of the day, you need to somewhat be innovative. As a business owner, as a creator, you need to be innovative. So thank you so much for that, brother. Thank you so much for coming and actually helping us understand strategy more. I always learn a lot from these live sessions on a daily. And just as much as every person that I've brought onto this platform is someone that I know, there's a lot that I'm learning about each discipline on a daily. So thank you so much for coming on to the Tostri Live Digital Summit. And for people that also do not know, this is the man behind our new CI, the designs that you've been seeing, the poster designs for the summit, the logo on the top left that you're seeing. This is the man that designed that. and this is a person that we are constantly building onto, that we are building with within the business. So thank you so much. Visit Whitespace. Comment down below should you have any comments, any requests, any advice on strategy. You can hit him up directly. His handle is there. We will put up this video after we've done the live. So please do share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will also have him on the long format series where we'll have an in-depth conversation on brands that we've worked with, the challenges of being in this business as well, and how to actually properly move forward within the industry. So thank you so much, brother. I don't know if you wanted to just close off with something.
No, pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. It's always a pleasure to work with Tostri. And I would say let's build, let's connect. I think there need to be more conversations like this where we can learn. And well, yeah, it's definitely an opportunity to learn and to grow. So, yeah, thank you, brother, for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, bro. So thank you so much to everyone that joined us today. Just as much as I saw we didn't get any comments, but I'm hoping that people will get into the live stream or check it out on YouTube to just learn about strategy. It's a very important aspect of growth and building forward as a business, as a brand, as an individual. So thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow we will have a conversation around motion graphics and design, which is now more towards what people would refer to as animation. I know these are somewhat two different disciplines, but within the industry, we put them as one. So we'll have conversations around that. And later in the week, we will now speak on partnerships. So what we're basically trying to do is to just show you a thread of the important things that one needs to look out for within the creative space. And from this series that we're doing as an introductory sort of series up until the end of July, I'm hoping that people can now start understanding or getting the fundamentals of the businesses within the creative industry and how we function, how we get to what we have today. So thank you so much for watching. We will put out the poster and information on the candidate that we will have tomorrow. Thank you.